If someone knocks on your door, don't look through the peephole. I know it sounds paranoid. I know it's instinct, muscle memory. Someone knocks, you check. It's normal. It used to be normal for me too, until I learned it wasn't. I've always hated being contacted out of the blue. A random number calls me. I won't pick up. If it's important, they'll leave a message. Ever had a coworker message you on Teams without any prior warning? Took me a while to get used to that. But the worst? The absolute worst, is someone knocking on my door unannounced. It started back in university. I was living in a tiny apartment, just me and a lot of bad habits. I'd be smoking or maybe just too busy to clean, and then, knock, knock. The sound would hit me like a punch to the chest. My whole body would go stiff. I'd tiptoe over, careful not to make a sound, and peek through the peephole. Most of the time, I didn't open the door. Just pretended I wasn't home. Was it introversion? Paranoia? I don't know. But it stuck. 15 years later, in a dozen different apartments, I still did it. When someone knocked, I tiptoed to the door, checked, and if I didn't feel like it, I wouldn't open up. Maybe some unresolved anxiety. It worked. I didn't have to deal with unexpected visitors, and if it was important, they'd find another way to reach me. I thought it was fine, until 2 weeks ago. It was a Friday night. A long week at work. For the first time in a while, I let myself relax. I smoked a little, played video games with some friends. The night was mine. I had my headphones on, fully immersed, when I felt it. A sound, like a knock, just on the edge of my awareness. I pulled my headphones off, my heart skipping. I held my breath. Listened. Nothing. It must have been my upstairs neighbors. They have a kid who's probably staying up late. I shrugged it off, put my headphones back on. Mistake. The night went on, but that sound kept coming. Knock, knock. Just faint, rhythmic tapping, like something waiting. I ignored it at first. Maybe it was the weed playing tricks on me. Maybe I was just tired. But then, by 2 a.m., I'd had enough. I logged off, crawled into bed, and scrolled through my phone before I could sleep. That's when I heard it again. Slow. Deliberate. No mistaking it now. A knock. Right at my front door. My stomach dropped. I sat up, heart racing. My mind scrambled for answers. Emergency? A late-night visitor? But why hadn't they knocked harder? Why wasn't there panic in the knock? Why so patient? I slid out of bed, my breath shaky. I moved carefully, trying to make no sound. I grabbed my phone, using its flashlight to guide my steps, but I turned it off before reaching the door. I didn't want them to know I was awake. I crept forward, pressing my eye to the peephole. The cold rush of dread flooded my veins. There was someone standing there. Their back was to me. The hallway was a dead end. It's not like they were facing another door. Nothing, just starting at a well. Tall, broad, dressed in black. The sound of their breathing, deep, slow, heavy, echoed through the silence. My skin crawled. My mouth went dry. Every instinct in me screamed at me to move, to do something. But I couldn't. I just stood there, frozen, watching through the peephole. And then. It twitched. Not a step. Not a turn. But a violent shudder. Like something inside it was broken. A glitch. The body was unhinged, for just a second. It did that a few more times. It seemed to jerk backward, though it didn't turn. It wasn't a normal retreat. It was moving backwards, but not towards me. It was almost mechanical. I kept looking through the peephole. The hallway was empty. And it stayed empty. I barely slept that night. Every little noise made me flinch. Every shadow felt wrong. The knocking, though, it didn't stop. Every night, at exactly 2:30 a.m., it came. Slow. Methodical. Unhurried. And I couldn't stop myself. I crept to the door, heart pounding, and peered through the peephole. It was always there. Always in the same spot. Always facing the wall. The second I saw it, my stomach would twist with dread, like ice spreading through my veins. But still, I'd check. I had to. Maybe I thought if I didn't, it would get worse. My bad habit had the best of me, and I truly couldn't ignore it. I know what some of you are thinking. Why didn't I call the police or go stay somewhere else? Well, I had nowhere else to stay, and what was I going to tell the police? Some guy knocks on my door, and I don't answer, and then he leaves me alone. This was definitely creepy, but it was probably some stupid prank that's gone too far. Last night, though, something changed. The knocking started like usual, the rhythmic tap, tap, tap against the door. But I was already in bed. I hadn't fallen asleep yet. I sighed and rolled over, ready to check it as I always did. But this time, when I looked through the peephole, there was nothing. Nothing at all. No one stood in the hallway. No tall, broad figure. Just empty space. I was already pulling away from the door when I heard it again. This time, it came from behind me. The knocking was at my bedroom door. My blood ran cold. My body froze. The knocking came again, slow and deliberate. I turned my head, panic rising in my chest. The hallway was dark, the bedroom door shut tight. Knock. 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 Louder. Rattling the wood. My legs trembled, and I frozen between my front door and my bedroom door. I didn't know what to do. The doorknob turned. I stumbled backward, gasping. My heart felt like it was about to explode. The air grew thick, suffocating. My breaths came in shallow bursts, like I couldn't get enough oxygen. Knock. 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 The last one was a crash, a thunderous bang that shook the walls. And then, silence. I didn't move. I couldn't move. It felt like hours before the first light of morning crept through the blinds. Only then did I dare go into my bedroom. It was empty. Tonight. I know it will come again. But I won't look. Not this time. Because I know, if I do, I won't be looking at it. It will be looking at me. Don't look. Don't you dare look. If you look, it will see you. It will know you're here. Knock. 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 Go away. Please, just go away. Don't come any closer. I know you're there. You can't hide forever. It's just in my head. It's just my imagination. The knocking suddenly stops. A chilling silence fills the room. You've looked at me too many times. Now it's my turn to look at you. The bedroom door creaks open, the sound of the hinges screeching loudly. The protagonist steps back, eyes wide, barely breathing. No. Stay back. Too late. The screen fades to black. The protagonist's scream echoes, then cuts off abruptly. No. Stay back. Too late. The screen fades to black. The protagonist's scream echoes, then cuts off abruptly.